You are 17, flying over black hills while the engine shakes, your phone buzzes, and a voice orders you to land. You are not afraid of flying. You are afraid because one mistake could erase everyone who ever loved you. But before the money, the plane, and the first envelope, the sky still felt like the only place you were free. Your father repairs dying planes beside a dirt road, and you grow up sleeping beneath the sound of propellers. By 9, you diagnose engines by sound. By 12, your father lets you move planes across the field beside him. He teaches you to respect the machine. Your mother warns that the sky takes men who believe they cannot die. In the air, the debt, arguments, broken windows, empty fridge, and hidden bills all become small enough to survive. Then your father suffers one bad fall, one bad landing, and a medical bill larger than the repair shop itself. He stops flying. Your mother cleans houses, and you skip school while the man who smelled like engine oil begins smelling like fear. That is when a spotless black truck arrives, carrying 2 polite men who already know your family needs money. They offer simple work, legal work, moving equipment between ranches. Your father refuses, so they leave a thick envelope behind. Your parents fight in whispers, but the next morning the fridge holds meat, fruit, soda, and more food than your brother can eat. At first, you only repair loose panels, dead batteries, and cracked hoses for men who arrive at night and leave before sunrise. They jokingly call you pilot. You pretend to hate it, but at school everyone has only ever called you poor. Mateo brings city food, asks about school and dating, and says a smart kid should not waste his life fixing engines. When you guide a repaired plane perfectly across the strip, Mateo claps once like he has finally found what he wanted. That night, he gives you a new flight manual with your name inside and tells you talent deserves to be fed. That is how they get you. Not with a gun, but by seeing the dream nobody else can afford to notice. They secretly pay for lessons, and an old pilot teaches you wind, instruments, and how to remain calm when your eyes lie. You are too good. Soon your shoes and phone are new, your brother has medicine, and your mother stops asking questions. By 15, Mateo has you moving papers, parts, bags, and people while insisting the world belongs to men who never ask why. Your first envelope feels terrifying because it is too light for the amount of fear surrounding it. At the ranch gate, a stranger exchanges it for more money than your father earns in 3 months. You bring the money home expecting anger. Instead, your father sits at the kitchen table and cries without making a sound. Your life splits. Student by day, silent courier by night, surrounded by adults who call drugs cargo and death business. By 16, an older pilot named Ramiro teaches you to stay still around guns, say less than you know, and never look surprised. Ramiro says every pilot thinks he is the hero until the story eats him. Then he disappears without goodbye. Mateo says Ramiro got greedy, then hands you his sweat-stained headset and tells you it fits better anyway. You should run, but fear has repaired the roof, bought your father's brace, and sent your brother to a better school. The cage is made from groceries, medicine, school fees, and your little brother's smile. Love becomes the lock. Then Mateo drives you to a private strip where a small old plane waits, louder and more fragile than it should be. You ask what you are carrying. Mateo's smile vanishes, and he says that is not a pilot question. The first solo flight lasts under an hour, but every sound becomes a warning and every distant light feels like a witness. After landing, a stranger removes the cargo and Mateo hands you cash. Fear has officially become your job. Flights become regular enough to make refusal impossible. You stop planning, dating, and inviting friends because the phone owns your time. If this story has you hooked, like the video and subscribe. What happens next changes everything. When your 11-year-old brother finds cash under the mattress, you grab it so fast that he becomes afraid of you. Your mother calls the money cursed. Your father says cursed money still pays bills. Then she says they are spending you. At a ranch party, you see armed young men, frightened women, politicians greeting criminals, and luxury built on everyone's silence. Don Ernesto looks like a grandfather. He asks about school, gives you a heavy watch, and announces that you are family now. Everyone cheers, but you understand the word family differently now. Here, it means you are never allowed to leave. A police presentation at school discusses recruitment and choices. Your phone buzzes with one message from Mateo. Tonight, you decide to confess, take your brother, and run. Outside, Mateo is waiting beside your brother, who is eating ice cream. There is no threat, only a passenger door opening and Mateo reminding you that you missed his call. That night you fly, because loyalty is gone and only the trap remains. Afterward, you feel like a ghost watching yourself. You become quieter, meaner, older. Teachers mention potential, students with dark hair and confused faces say you changed, and your brother stops entering your room. Then Mateo assigns an important solo flight. His tired, almost apologetic eyes frighten you more than anger ever could. Before takeoff, your father touches the plane like a coffin and says he should have broken your hands before they used them. He gives you a patch from his first flight jacket. You put it in your pocket, and neither of you dares to hug. 10 minutes after takeoff, an unknown number sends a photo of your brother sitting confused in the back of a car. The message says, "Land where we tell you." The cargo never mattered. The entire flight was always about control. A video arrives of your brother asking where you are. Fear hardens into anger because every adult has already failed you. You realize the cartel rented your life one day at a time until there was nothing left for you to reclaim. Feeling your father's patch, you choose the nearest real lights. Roads, buildings, people, and witnesses instead of their hidden runway. Your phone explodes with calls from Mateo and unknown numbers. You answer none, and silence finally feels like freedom. When you land, vehicles surround the plane. Bright lights flood the windshield and officers drag you onto the concrete. Before sunrise, the news calls you a cartel pilot, never a person, son, or brother, while cameras crowd your family home. Your brother is found alive at a gas station. Mateo and Don Ernesto disappear because powerful men move like weather. In interrogation, agents ask for names, dates, routes, and orders. The old version of you believes silence means survival. Then you see your brother wrapped in a blanket, drinking from a paper cup, and silence looks like another cage. So you talk until your throat hurts, and the story that owned you becomes evidence in someone else's files. Months become years. You receive a new name, new hair, and a school where nobody knows what you once carried. Planes overhead tighten your chest, and the smell of fuel returns you to the cockpit, buzzing phone, and endless black ground. The worst part was never flying. It was how good being seen, chosen, and called special felt at the beginning. The cartel did not begin with threats. It began by believing in you before anyone else did, which is why it worked. Years later, your brother asks whether you miss the sky. The honest answer is yes, but only before everything went wrong. You miss being 12 beside your father, believing the horizon was a promise and the sky was somewhere nobody could own. Now you know freedom is not being above the world. Freedom is being able to land wherever you choose. Your life was never simply a crime story. It was one poor kid, one gift, one vulnerable family, and powerful men. You learn money can save a house while destroying a home, and being useful is not the same as being loved. And sometimes, the people who clip your wings are the same people who first taught you how to fly.